I just felt like I needed to have this disclaimer or just say this. Okay, so I know there's been a lot of talk on social media, especially TikTok, about like, Africans this, African American this, and like both Africans and African Americans have been going back and forth on social media about how they think they're being treated. So like Africans will be like, oh, African Americans don't like us, and then the African Americans will be like, oh, like they're just jealous of us, or and it's just a lot of back and forth going on social media. And please, I beg, do not like watch my video and like watch my video with the narrative that I am fitting into the perception of other Africans thinking that African Americans don't like them. I'm just simply stating my truth, okay? These are things that I've gone through, and God has done a lot of pruning, healing, and just a lot of evolving in my life, right? So now I have the mindset to know that maybe they were just operating with the mindset that they had with just growing up in the environment that they grew up in, or just growing up with the people around them. And maybe, the enemy was just using them against me, maybe enemy was using them to slow me down or to hinder me from just knowing who I am in Christ and just knowing my identity, right? Because the Bible states, I forgot the verse, but the Bible states that the fight's not between flesh and blood, but it's between spirits and principalities, right? So everything is spiritual. So now that God has done a lot of changes in my life with the way I think and the way I see things, I'm able to understand and know that when someone hurts me, offends me, it's not them, it's the spirit behind them. So yeah, I just wanted to say this because I don't want no one coming for me, and especially now that this whole thing has been, this African and African American thing has been so like all over social media, and this has been a lot of going back and forth. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today is another like sit and talk type of video, it's giving that type of vibe. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that I've been like putting it off to talk about, or to like even make a video about, because it's like kind of sensitive to me, and it requires me to be vulnerable. Like, and even though I've been vulnerable in my channel, I just feel like there's a level to just like vulnerability that I've been at, and this level to where like I haven't crossed yet. But today I just feel like God's really testing me. But yeah, we're gonna talk about something that ties into like my testimony a bit, and just how God has like used this experience or this like traumatic thing that I've gone through to help me understand how I can like shine his light onto people, onto just everyone here living in this world. I'll start from the beginning about like how this started. Okay. So some of you might know, some of you don't, but I'm a college student and I'm in my senior year in undergrad, and I think maybe it's been over a month. So it's been over a month of me just going to school, and during the first week of school, I was actually like planning on not planning, but I was actually like making a video, but it just never came out. And part of the reason why is because of this experience. So it was the first day of the semester. I got ready, went to campus, After my classes, I went to the student union where like all the foods are, like the Chick-fil-A, like this, we have this chicken place, the food court, just where all the food is that you can get on campus. I remember I went to the food court to grab like something to eat. I think I got a pizza. And as I was like walking out of the food court, there's like this seating area, right? And there's a lot of tables and chairs where students would just sit there and like chat to their friends, or just chat to their classmates about whatever they're talking about. So I remember like walking out of the food court, and I walked past a group of like boys, a group of black boys, and like instantly anxiety just came, and I started to like walk fast as I was passing them. And as I was like passing them, I was like kind of like trying to hear what they were talking about and overhear what they like were discussing, whatever. And I kind of heard like bits and pieces of what they were saying, and I just continued walking. And then from that moment, like that interaction was just stuck. It was just stuck on my head, like in my head. Let me clarify what I meant by interaction. So as I said, I was walking past a group of black men, and as I was walking past them, I noticed like 2 or 3 of them were looking at me. So I was looking at them as they're looking at me. I couldn't like let go of the interaction. Like I was just like, bro, like were these people talking about me? Like were these men talking about me? Like, and I like, and that interaction just clouded my mind, and I started to like think very negatively about the things they could possibly say about me. And I remember when I got to my apartment, I just felt the need to like sit outside. And my apartment has like a like courtyard style like seating area where it has like a lot of seats, and you can just sit there. And it's like a very cute and like comfy place. So I went over there, I sat, and it was like closer to like nighttime, but it was still kind of like the sun was out a little bit. So I remember sitting down, and I was just thinking, and I was like, okay, like God, like oh my God, like I just don't like the fact that like it's been so many hours since I like left campus, and like since this interaction happened, and like what they possibly said about me, or what they possibly said in general, is still stuck in my head. Like I feel like they were talking about me. I just feel like it. And then it was just kind of like continuously in my head, and I was just like, look God, like I don't like this. Like I just don't know why I just feel like they were talking about me. Like I have no idea for sure. Like nothing can really prove to me that they were talking about me, but it's just, I feel like in my head I feel like they were talking about me. So God was just like, oh, like you don't know what they like. He was literally speaking to me. He was like, okay, like Sarah, you don't even know what they were talking about. Like you just overheard something. Like what if they were talking about something else? What if they were talking about like, I don't know, sports or something that was just not related to me. Like he told me to like basically think about all the friends that I have in my life, right? And I was like, okay. So I was thinking about all the friends I have in my life, and one thing I noticed is that the majority of my friends, or just the people that I hang out with, are Africans, right? I mean Africans, like Africans, people born in Africa, people who have African mothers and fathers, like who were born into like the African culture, Africans. And I was just like, okay, like, and then like I noticed that I can kind of like count on my hands like the amount of like African American, like Black American, like people I hang out with or I interact with. It just, I can literally count it in my fingers because it's not that many. But when it comes to like African friends, I have so much to the point where I just can't count. And I was like, okay, like that's interesting. Oh my God, God was literally like kind of like replaying like traumatic experiences in my head, and I was like, God, I don't like this at all. Like why are you replaying this traumatic like experience in my head? Like I just don't want to go through it, right? And like a couple of them that he was like replaying in my head is like just the experiences I went through being bullied. So I was bullied for like 6-7 years, from I would say 4th 5th grade to like sophomore junior year of high school. So I was bullied throughout like my adolescence, like the important years of my life, like when you're going through puberty, and like the things that you go through in your life are really like influencing you and just your mindset as well. Like those years, that's when I was bullied. And the majority of the people that bullied me were like African Americans, African American men, especially African American men, and then like a couple African American, like, you know, girls, women, whatever. So I was just like, God, like, ugh, like please, I don't want to go through this. And to the point where I started like crying and tearing up, because I'm like, God, like why are you doing this? Like I don't want to. It's like the type of person I am, like if I'm like reevaluating or just or going through like a traumatic experience in my head, like I can still like feel it as if I was experiencing it at that moment. Like, he really made me realize the reason why I surround myself with like majority like Africans is because of like the bullying that I went through by like African Americans, right? I'm like, okay, like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's so true. Like, I didn't even realize it, because sometimes you won't realize that like you will have like traumatic responses to things you've gone through, and you wouldn't even think and like reprocess and just dwell on those experiences and how it shapes your life or how it influences your life. So in that moment, God was like making me like honestly like do that. And he was just like he began to like relate it to just the topic of light, because that's something that he's been like continuously introducing me to, just light and me being his light on this world, especially in the season I am now, and just in everything I am related to like God and like Christianity when it comes to like fellowship or Bible study, just any environment that I am that God is in. He is reminding me of this like topic of light, right? So he reminded me of it, and he was just like, you know, I've called you to be like the light, my light in this world. I called you to shine my light onto people. And like, how can you do that when you are only surrounding yourself with people who are like you, people like Africans? And he began to tell me like my people are not just Africans, like my people are diverse, like my people are just multiple races. And you cannot like fully shine my light onto my people when you are only stuck in this environment or this space or this comfort of being around people who look like you and who talk like you or who like the same things as you. And then he began to like talk to me even deeper, and he was saying like in this, like, you've gone through like, you know, different forms of disrespect when it comes to bullying, right? So I've been bullied, I've heard people like say disrespectful things to me, like that comment. I've been sexualized, fetishized, right? Different forms of disrespect I've experienced it from others, right? People have sinned against me, right? And in the same way, I have sinned against God in the past when I was not saved. I've sinned against God, and I disrespected him because of my sins, of me living in that life of sin. Me being sinful was disrespectful to God because God hates sin. So God was able to love me even though I was still living a life of sin, and to forgive me for everything that I've done, every disrespectful thing that I've done to God. He was able to forgive me, right? And then in the same way, God was like, okay, I'm able to love you and forgive you for like all the things that you've done. Why can't you do the same to other people who have disrespected you and, you know, cause you all this like traumatic things? Like aren't you made in my image? Aren't you made in my likeness? If I'm able to forgive you and love you, why can't you do the same? Okay, so with this interaction with God, he made it very clear on the fact that he's going to use my experiences with bullying for his good, and me learning how to just shine this light that he has shone onto me, this light that he's placed inside me, onto his people, right? And in that way, he wants me to like begin to like form, create, and like have relationships, bonds, friendships with people outside of my race, my ethnicity, my nationality. For me personally, like I said, it's very uncomfortable because I'm just very comfortable around Africans. Like, it's like I can see an African and instantly we click, right? But obviously, how can I grow if I'm constantly around people that I can easily interact with? But yeah, so me being with other people, it's like God's challenging me to get outside of my comfort zone and just to get outside of myself. And I believe that I can learn so much through just interacting with people. I strongly suggest you go to God, ask him this question, the question of how will I shine your light onto your people. And, you know, just be prepared to be blown away, be prepared to receive an answer, because in Jeremiah it says that if you seek God, you will find him when you seek him with all of your heart. But yeah, have a blessed day, guys. Thank you for watching.